being a man of influence, people often ask me for my recommendations on products and such. So today I'm going to talk about some of my favourites and must-haves, don't leave the house without them, commuting and cycling products. I'm going to talk about a couple of things in this video. Some of these things are going to keep you kind of entertained, some of these are going to keep you from not having a bad ride, but most importantly, like the sponsor of today's video, Outdoor Masters, something that's going to keep you safe and not be dead. I've got to a point now that I'm pretty much cycling every single day. Wherever I go, there's a few things that I carry with me everywhere. One, just to kind of make sure that I don't have a bad time, like I mentioned, but also just to kind of like, just make sure I can get home. There's nothing worse than going out on the bike and not being able to get home. So some of the things I take with me everywhere I go are, one, a tyre leather. There's lots of different ones you can get. I use the Pedro's one in pink. Other colours are available. It's solid. It's really like a thick piece of plastic. Obviously weighs nothing because it's plastic. I've had a bunch of them that have just lasted for ages and ages and ages and ages. So Pedro's tyre leather, or any other tyre leather, but this one's very good. I often carry it in a tube as well. No, not like that. Like this. But I also carry two if I'm on the cargo bikes. Cargo bikes generally have a small wheel on the front and a big wheel on the back. Depending on which cargo bike I ride in, depends on which rear wheel size as well. So there's a few different tube options that I could carry with me. If I'm riding my kids around to school and stuff, I don't often worry about it too far, because worst case scenario, I can just push it back. But if I am going a long distance cargo bike ride, then I'll often have two tubes. I also really like the super patches from Park Tools, these. I've used a few different other stick-on patches and don't like them so much. Essentially these ones, you don't need any glue or preparation really, you just find your hole and just slap it on and it works great. I've actually patched tubes with these and they still work now, like months, years later, they work really, really well. So I like these, and they're like maybe £2 or £3 a pack, so cheap. Multi-tools, I've got a bunch of different ones. I don't actually have this one. This one looks quite cool, but something that has a chain tool on it and then all the bits you would need for your bike. If you have multiple bikes, then you might want something big chunky like this, so you've got lots of different things on it. But generally you could get quite a small multi-tool, because most bikes only have a few bolts that you'd need on a ride. But one thing I'd say you definitely do need is some sort of chain tool. There's nothing worse than snapping a chain or having an issue with a chain. You could make it shorter to get yourself home. The gears might not work the best, but you'll get home. But if you don't have a chain tool, like that could be worse. That could be worse. It's bad. You want the chain tool. That's it. And then the last one is some sort of pump. So this is a Toe Peak. I want to say it's a pocket rocket. This is quite old. There's no thing on it anymore. I've used it so much. Like, it is a really, really, really good pump. I've bought several of them, not because they break, but because I either give them to people because I'm like, here you go on a ride, keep it, it's amazing, you'll never look back, or I just have a few of them for different bikes and stuff, so they come in really good. But it's like just a normal hand pump, but it works really, really well, so I do really, really rate those. But more often than not, I actually then just carry one of these. This is the Cyplus mini pumps. There's a few different versions. This is the smaller of their new ones that they released quite recently. I did a video all about these in more detail down below, but essentially it's a mini pump that is USB powered. This one I think lasts around about 3 or 4 pumps of like full pumps, not just like a pump, to fill the tyre up 3 or 4 times. The big one does it like 5 or 6 or maybe more. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but maybe I'll put the link up here for that video that goes into more detail. But these are really, really good. There's actually a discount code for these in my description down below, so if you want to pick up one of these, you can get a bit of money off as well. But I really like these. I'm quite lazy when you kind of, especially if you're on a commute and you're on the way home and you're just like, I just want to get home right now. There's nothing worse than the punches on the way home. They're the ones you remember because you just want to be home now. Electric pumps. I like them. Now, when it comes to zooming around a city or trails or wherever you might be riding, one of the big and probably the biggest thing you need to think about is safety. And I'm not one for talking about safety very often. I'm a bit of a maverick, but when I do my boo, when I am out on the bike, protecting your noggin is one of the most important things. So Outdoor Masters have been kind enough to sponsor today's video, and they supplied us with a helmet and some glasses to try out. So this is the Gem bike helmet, which also comes with Mips, which we're going to talk about way more in a second. It actually comes in a whopping 10 different colours. It comes in 2 sizes, and it's crazy comfortable. I was a bit hesitant when you find a helmet that you like, and you kind of stick to that helmet. But I was keen to try it out, and I'm very surprised. It's super comfortable. It's got lots of different inserts on the inside, and it comes with extras as well, so you can change the kind of padding and kind of where it all sits. There's actually quite a lot of padding in these helmets compared to a lot of helmets out there. It's also got a visor on the front as well, so it's quite good, especially for mountain biking and trail riding, keeping that sun out your face. And it's also got a twisty adjuster on the back. But the main reason I wanted to talk about this helmet, and the main reason I said yes to it, is the fact that it comes with Mips. Mips is a technology that is inside the helmet, which is this yellow section inside, right? I'm going to link a video to Mips YouTube channel, because they obviously explain it way better because they're scientists and they know all smart things. But essentially, the big thing when it comes to hitting your head on the ground is concussions and brain damage, right? The basics that I know of is essentially the fact that if you have a straight on or a rotated collision, your brain moves in your head, which causes it to damage more and rips and stuff like this, right? Mips, the basics of it is essentially it moves the helmet and makes it twist on your head slightly, which means when you do hit the ground, there's a little bit of give and a little bit of movement, which helps brain traumas and things like that, which that's the cleverest and most scientific thing we're ever going to talk about in this channel. But essentially, if you see this sticker on a helmet, you need to get it. The other thing, the last thing really on this, is the fact that Mips helmets are really expensive, but this one is £47.39. That's nuts, and that's the biggest reason why I said yes, because they've obviously focused on design, but also the fact that they want Mips in there for affordable price. Mips helmets are usually really expensive, so Outdoor Masters, links are in the description below. Go and check it out. Very cool helmet. They also sent out these awesome glasses as well. These glasses have got photochromic technology. That was hard to say. But essentially the lenses change depending on light conditions, so they will change depending on whether the sun's shining or if the cloud comes over and things, to kind of keep your vision similar. One thing I find a lot when I'm out cycling, especially in the city, is when you get glares and stuff, it makes it hard to kind of keep concentrating on what you're doing. Sunnies obviously help with that, but if it's not a super sunny day, something like this is actually going to also help you just kind of keep that glare and your vision to well, it actually says on there HD vision experience. There you go. Talking about stickers, there's only a couple of these. Oh my god, let's try that again. There's only a couple of these fun stickers left on the website. They are near enough sold out. I think there's only a couple left. There's a lot of other stuff as well, but the ones that you guys have been going mad for, you've almost bought all of them, I believe. So do check them out at spray.bike.com with all the stickers and things like that, so if you're interested. Okay, so we're down to our last couple of things. The next things isn't really a product, it's more of a thing, and it comes in lots of shapes and sizes. Food. So I, for a very long time, didn't think much about eating when I was out riding my bike. I just went out on my bike. But when I learned about a bit about nutrition. You've probably seen photos of where I look. But when you're riding a bike, you do need to keep that kind of nutrition inside you. You do need that energy is the main thing. So this is kind of down to yourself doing your own sort of research. And I also say there's also certain foods that are better for you in different times of the year and in different times of the month, depending on what you're into. I currently really like eating boiled eggs when I'm out on rides. Bit weird, some people might think, but I quite like them. Either peel them before you leave, or you can buy boiled eggs just boiled in some supermarkets and stuff like that. I like them. But food, eat when you ride. Next, and this depends on what type of year it is or kind of where in the world you are, but I'd say some sort of lights. God, that's really bright. So these are my two favourite lights that I use. These are actually both from Magic Shine, who used to actually be channel sponsors. They're not anymore, but I still really rate the product, so I still talk about them a bunch. But this is the rear light I use the most. This is the See Me 300, which has a little bit on the bottom as well. I'm just going to not blind you. It comes and like lights up the road as well, which I quite like. It pulses, which is quite cool. I like that light very much. And that, I charge that, and it usually lasts in the winter, obviously, we're talking here. It lasts a week easily. But it's also, you know, worthwhile in bad cloudy weather, which we get a lot here, for being seen and stuff. The other thing is this one here, which is the Ulti 15005. This thing is an extremely powerful front light that, again, I want to just blind you, but like you can see, it's insane. I can't remember exactly how many lumens. I think you can change it, but it's currently 750 lumens, which is nuts. That's actually hot to touch. Just going to turn that off. But I use that a lot when I do night riding and stuff like that. I think it, like, when I do use it, it normally just completely floods the place I'm in, and I can see everything. It's almost like day riding, to be honest. But I'd always say bike lights are really worth having, especially if you're going to be out late. Going back to safety again, I suppose. Be seen. See me. Bike lights. So the very last one I'm going to talk about is bike locks, and this could be a whole video, and I promised Hiplock that I would make a whole video, so we do need to make a whole video on bike locks and locking techniques and things. So that is something that will be coming sooner or later. Subscribe to the channel, you know you want to. But depending where I'm going, there's two locks I use the most. One would be a Z-lock, which is one of these ones here. It's the kind of cool zip tie type deals. If I know that I'm just going out with a load of mates, nipping in somewhere and then come back out again, usually there's someone around, this is enough. If I'm locking my bike and I'm going away and I'm not going to come back anytime soon, I'd use one of these, which is a D1000. This is one of those anti-angle grinder locks. So this one is essentially, and Francis Cade has made videos on this. I would make a video on it, but I actually use it daily and I love it to pieces, so I don't want to cut it up or attempt to cut it. But Francis Cade used it, and I can't remember exactly how many discs they went through, but they went through several discs and didn't actually make it through within 10 minutes, and they still hadn't done it. In the real world, if you've locked your bike up somewhere and someone comes along and goes through a whole disc trying to lock it up, that's the point they usually would probably walk away. So I highly rate these. Hiplock are a sponsor for the channel, and there is a discount code in the description below. So if you ever want to pick up anything from those guys, do check that one out. And we will do a video on their stuff in more detail soon, because they deserve it, and there's lots of lock techniques we could talk about. And the very last one that I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to talk about this briefly because there's a video coming out soon about this, but I've been using a bike computer. Anybody that follows me on Strava might have noticed recently that I started using it again, and it's mainly because I've been using this bad boy. This is from a company called Corpo, which might not be pronounced right, but it is a bike commuter that tracks your riding and things like that, but it also links straight up to Strava. If you're someone who's super nerdy and has all the different monitors, heart rates, cadence, all that sort of stuff, you can link it all to this as well, and it does all those cool things. I've only just started using this for the last couple of weeks, so I don't know everything about it yet, so I'm not going to talk into much detail, but if you're not putting your rides on Strava, did you even go on a ride? That's what people say, don't they? But yeah, I really like having that, because sometimes you don't want to be using your phone draining battery the whole time. Instead, I use this, and then when I get home, I can just sync it to my phone. Super easy. But I'm going to do a video all about that in more in detail, because I really rate it. So that's that. Cool. I could probably keep talking about products and things that I use, because I don't use necessarily all of them every single day, but I do use a lot of different things, so we could keep doing this all day long. So I'm going to stop there. They're the things I'm using currently, and a lot of it I use daily. The pumps not very often, because I'm lucky and I don't get many punches, but I'm glad I have them. But that's the end of the video. If you're into this type of content, this is a weekly channel. We post videos every week, sometimes several times a week, and you can hit this button here to subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free, and it helps me out a bunch. We do a lot of bike builds on this channel as well, and that one there is a bike build, and that one is actually a particularly good one. You should go and watch it right now.